Did this in the wrong order. I meant to mute the BBC, the real BBC, not BBC America, and then hit record. I've realized I kind of like taking my videos when I'm here in the hotel room because then I'm not distracted trying to actually enjoy the city of Reykjavik. Gosh, I'm tired, and I took like a 3-hour nap because I was just so exhausted after the ATV ride. I was gripping that ATV with my legs to not fall off of it, and now I'm getting these tremendous leg cramps with the muscles inside your thigh that pull your legs together. Abductor, anyway. So I went and had some noodle soup, and then the smell of these French fries from Reykjavik chips was too good. I have learned yesterday and today the beauty that is unfortunately French fries and mayo. Tasty, but the idea was incredibly disgusting. Interesting thing here. The lights turn yellow before they turn green. I decided I really, really, really like this fact. Indiana, get on this. Actually, they're red, and then while the red light is on, they click yellow at the same time, and it gives you like a 2 or 3 second warning that you're about to get the green light. It's kind of cool, I think. Icelanders are all hot. Just gonna throw that out there. They're all hot, and I find it interesting how many you walk around with unusual like 10 facial piercings, lots of tattoos. A lot of people here have a lot of ink. Don't know why. Maybe it's a Scandinavian thing. I mean, there's the character from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is supposed to be all inked and pierced and da da da. I think she's Swedish. Maybe it's a thing up here. It's so cold. We're gonna stay inside and get inked. But yeah, today was awesome. I'm uploading the videos from the ATV tour. Lots of colorful language, lots of surprise. When you watch the videos, though, it's almost got like I don't know if the lens is rounded or fisheye or fisheye. Anyway, but the ground looks flatter than it is, and it's driving me nuts when I watch these. I'm watching the part where I got stuck, and it was like a 30 to 40 degree grade. I mean, it was serious. It looks pretty flat. It looks pretty flat in the videos, and I'm going. I didn't have a hard time driving on flat ground. I was hitting 20, 30 kilometers an hour on flat ground when there weren't the rocks shaking me horribly. Hit 40 when a portion we had to get on the road, and our guide pulls up and he's like, "We're gonna be on the road for about a minute because we're gonna be there with regular street traffic." He goes, "So we kind of have to. We gotta go." The speed limit on the road we were at, when I finally hit 40, trying to keep up with him, the speed limit was actually 70. So I don't know if ATVs hit that. Was not going to find out even if they. The whole big thing when you sign the paperwork is you're not supposed to drive any faster or in any way that you feel uncomfortable. So the moment he told me that I had to lay on the gas to get up the hill, I'm like, wait, we've exceeded the level of my comfort for driving this thing. So am I still going to be responsible for any damages when I do a barrel roll? Oh my god, it's funny. Several times in the video I say that, like, don't do a barrel roll. I've counted so far 3 times. It's like I think almost 70 minutes of video. 2 or 3 times so far I've said, "You didn't fly 3,000 miles to be a wuss," which Seamus has kindly made into a funny meme for me. But today, thanks to a tip from somebody here in Clackaviri, which is the local SCA Shire, I posted here maybe a month, 2 months ago, and said, "Hey, I'm going to come out for a week. You guys are going to probably know more than a lot of the general public. What would interest me? What are your thoughts?" And somebody kindly remembered, and she tagged me, and she said, "Hey, did you get to the 871 plus or minus 2 exhibit today on their Shire page? Because it's free. It's free today." So I'm like, "Okay, sweet." Ran over there. It's really cool, but it's really small. They unearthed a Viking hall, a large home in the middle of Reykjavik, and they actually cleared it out on the spot. They cleared out the dirt around it, and from what I was reading, they built up the exhibition and the building around this. It said that it had not been moved. This was exactly where it was found, and they just cleared everything out around it. And apparently, originally, like, the exhibit had a dirt floor, and they've put it in a tile floor. It's pretty small, but it's pretty cool to actually get to see this is the house, and these are the dimensions, and here's where the animals were, and here were the entrances, and here's where the garbage pit was. And they do a lot of really kind of neat semi-holographic stuff. From the close end of the hall, there's a sheet of glass hanging at like a 45-degree angle out in the middle of the display. And it's a little dark. I took some pictures of it. So you can't exactly see the pane of glass, but they're using it to project a fire where the large central hearth should be. And along the wall, there's all these displays as if the original view. So if you turn your back to the hall, you're looking at these images of the harbor, the seafront, and the ocean used to be much closer. They tell you what street. They're like, this street would actually have been the beachfront. But they show you, like, this is where these other houses were, this is where these workshops were. And in this display, there are screens set, and they basically have animated what looks supposed to look like ghosts. These translucent, overlaid images of people working in the workshops and farming out by the houses and chopping wood. So it has this strong spectral feeling. It was very, very cool to see. I grabbed their book talking about the whole exhibition, the whole exhibit, and their research, because I just thought it was so cool. Then they have this neat mock-up, this large table with, it's kind of a plastic outline. And all along the edge of this table are words. And what you can do is you can walk up, and there's cameras above projecting onto this white plastic structure the colors and the imagery of the greater sight around this hall. And if you go and you put your hand on the table over and cover one of the words, it recognizes it, and that's how you indicate you want more information on that. And it was like the walls, the trash, how it was built, the stone facing used on these turf walls. I actually took a video of one of them because it was such a cool way to do this. But I think it was like walls, and I put my hand on the walls, and all of a sudden, like, it shoots out a line from my hand, and it expands an info box, and it changes the lights being displayed onto the white plastic structure to highlight more information about the walls. So everybody's standing there, and they're covering up bits, and it's projecting new information onto the display. It was so cool. Very Minority Report, very, very futuristic. Loved that display. But yeah, otherwise, it's been a good day, but I'm so exhausted. So tired. I got 6 or 7 hours of sleep. Had to get up super early for that ATV ride. It was a little nerve-wracking because you go in Grey Lined Iceland is one of the 2 bus lines that seem to take everybody everywhere here, to and from the hotel or the Blue Lagoon or all these activities. And so it was just exhausting because I get on this Grey Line bus, and they take me back to their bus depot. And they're like, you have to go in and get a ticket. And I'm like, oh, I have to pay for a ticket? That's fine, just didn't know it. But then it opens up all these travel anxiety questions of, do I need to buy a return ticket? What does this mean? What are these timetables? I thought I just got picked up and taken to the ATV. So I get my ticket, and I switch to a minibus, and then they're like, we just take you to the Blue Lagoon. And I'm like, but I'm not going to the Blue Lagoon. I'm going to ATV. And they're like, well, they will meet you there at the Blue Lagoon. And I'm like, who, how, what, when, so many questions. And I'm going, how am I getting back to Reykjavik? So they drop us off, and there was a ATV 4x4 van there that took the 2 of us to the site. Neat place, neat people, great experience. Pretty intense for me. I ride my bike on paved trails off the street. I don't do mountain biking. I've never been on an ATV. And you're going on all these rocks, and afterwards, like, if you watch the videos, there's a lot of sounds of me going oh, as you're pitching and bouncing, and there's these heavy ruts that I'm trying to get in and out of, and it's tossing me around, and the footage is very cool, very beautiful, shows a lot of this neat area, but really downplays the intensity of the ride at some points. But then there's a few points where I watch it, and it's shaky cam at its finest, and you just see going, and I'm like, now you know how I feel. But yeah, so then afterwards it was like, okay, what do? And I'm going, how do I get back to Reykjavik? So I asked people, I'm like, what do I do now? And they're like, well, Gray Line will take you back from the Blue Lagoon. We'll just drop you off. So very, very pleasant woman grabs the keys and runs me back to the Blue Lagoon, talking to me the whole way. That was funny because we were talking about the mountains, and I was to explain to her, I said, I live somewhere very, very flat. I said, it's farmland, it's very, very flat. I said, so I keep staring at these mountains. I said, I keep taking pictures, so many pictures I have of the mountains. When I upload them, everybody's going to be like, did you do anything else? But every time I get a good view of the mountains, I take a picture of them. This was true when I had to run to Salt Lake City for 23 hours for work one time. This is true when I go to Las Vegas or just anywhere else with mountains that are visible. I get fixated and fascinated by these mountains because it is just so weird to me. Oh, incoming phone call. No. And I get, it's baffling to me to look at these mountains. And I guess geologically, Iceland is probably a pretty young landmass because these mountains are so tall. That it is just, I stare at them and I kind of, not a math guy, not an engineer, but I stare at it trying to calculate how much stone is in one of these mountains, or some of them are volcanoes, and it just kind of boggles my mind to think about it. And it was neat when we got to the top of our volcano during the tour. The tour guide is like, he's explaining to us the local ring of fire kind of thing. He goes, if you look from this point, basically from Keflavik, which is where the international airport is, 45 minutes away from Reykjavik. If you look in a line, you'll see this line of volcanoes. And he was telling us, like, those volcanoes were active, like, in the 1200s, and those volcanoes became dormant in the 1300s, and da-da-da. And it's like, and then you go the other way, and there's this island, not Vithi? If I saw it, I could say it, but I can't quite remember it. There's this island in the distance, and there's this other ring going from the same location out towards it. Talking about the volcanic activity, it's just so weird, and I got a few good shots of these because it's like parts of Iceland are incredibly flat near the coast, and it's neat because you're looking out, and from the perspective we had up there, you could see flat land, giant volcano, just a huge cone thrust out of this flat land, and then flat land continuing. The interior of the country seem to all be these huge mountains, and so I take a lot of pictures of these that people probably see this weekend. They are just so massive, but yeah, it's been very, very cool and very, very neat. Enjoying my 6th Icelandic beer at the moment. I didn't know what the rules were for open carrying beer, so I was a little embarrassed when I got my fries and I still haven't eaten it, and they were too hot. I walked it back to the hotel because I thought, okay, I'm so tired. And now again, I've now woken up and I'm like, oh, there's this bar that somebody recommended. Maybe I'll go see if I can get beer number 7 for this trip. A few blocks away, but wide awake now. That's not what I was going to say. I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, the food here is interesting. I went to the Laundromat Cafe today, which was highly recommended. The food was pretty standard kind of American fare. I mean, I had a barbecue chicken sandwich. They had cheeseburgers and fries and whatnot. I am losing my sweet tooth. Icelandic pop. I had one during my culture class. Appelsín, which is an orange pop. And they also have a malt drink. And I've had malt soft drinks before that I thought they were just nasty. It was just like horrible beer that was unalcoholic. And I keep getting screwed up because they say here an-alcoholic. An-alcoholic is without alcohol here. Non-alcoholic, unalcoholic. I'm mashing them together, but this stuff is this malt drink from Eitt Brewery. Getting better on that one. Is everything here Eitt. It's a name. It's a big brewery. I think I've had 3 beers from them. But this malt drink was fantastic, but very sweet, very, very pleasant. They mix it. Anyway, this Appelsín drink, and I'm drinking going, this is not sweet like an American soft drink would be. And even, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I really wanted to try the new Mountain Dew flavor. And I don't drink pop anymore. I think ooh, that's green. I think that I've gone like 3 months without a sip of pop. Regularly now. I'm averaging 1 pop every 2 or 3 months. I I got out of the habit a year ago, and it's been fantastic. But I walked through the. By the way, it's a 10-11 instead of a 7-Eleven, and I took photos to prove it. That's what I was thinking of. It's not a 24/7. It is 24/7. The shop is called 10-11. But I was walking around trying to find Icelandic candy for our candy bowl at work, and I came across this because they basically had this and applesin and the malt drink, and I'm like, okay, it's like the only other Icelandic pop that I can see that I haven't tried. I'm gonna grab it. It's like a really weak Green River. But this and the applesin are both really not very sweet by North American standards, and it was so weird because I can remember in the culture class we're drinking the applesin, and I said, this is really, I said, this isn't very sweet by American standards. And they go, okay, cool, whatever. But at the same time, I was thinking of this Mountain Dew that I drank. I left it in my car, and it took me 4 days to drink it because it was so overpoweringly sweet. I didn't want it. And you'll actually even notice I haven't finished this. It's not appealing. I kind of see why Icelanders do everything in these small glasses, and it makes sense for anything that's not water. I need a huge 50-ounce big gulp cup for their water here because it's amazing, but everything else they do, all these small glasses, and at breakfast for the orange juice they have these small glasses. And it's like, why? Like, oh, this is why you're all thin. You've got portion control built into your cultural common dining ware and whatnot. But yes, Laundromat Cafe, the ADD clicking in. It was it was neat because of the ambiance, not the food. But somebody ordered a piece of chocolate cake, and I was like, oh my god, that looks amazing. I've walked everywhere. I've not taken a bus any time that I've been here. I'm sure it's okay if I eat a piece of chocolate cake. I had to make myself finish it. It was just too much. So I have severely damaged my sweet tooth. I may have had it rotten out of my skull, or I pulled my sweet tooth. But a lot of it's weird because during my class was saying that the Icelandic food is very sweet. The bread, the rugbrauð is very sweet. The malt drink very sweet. Their pickled herring is pickled with vinegar and sugar. A lot of very sweet things, and it's like he's right, but it is all still so mildly sweet compared to what we do in the U.S. or maybe even North America. Because I felt like Stephanie agreed. They put sugar in everything, but they put in a quarter of the sugar that we would put in. So it's very tasty, actually. I wonder if I had come here a year ago, if I would appreciate it. If I was still drinking pop actively, if I would find this all very off-puttingly mild and weak. But I can really appreciate the food now, at this time at least, and how mild it is. And it reminds me of when Steve and I went to IKEA, and we're like, okay, we're going to eat at IKEA, and we're going to get the Swedish meatballs, and this is so cool. And it was really cool, but I remember that they had these desserts, and eating one of these desserts going, this is really not very sweet for dessert. It was tasty, fantastically tasty, but distinct. It's just what you notice. Very, very mild, that's I'm sure a cultural bad note for us, but otherwise fantastic time. Unfortunately, I can feel that now I'm awake. It was sheer force of will. I was laying in bed, basically talking to Rowana, going, oh, I need to go get dinner, and maybe I could just go next door to Cafe Loki again because it was amazing. Maybe I should go try something new. Sheer force of will to get up and put on my pants and go back out. And now I'm awake again. So tomorrow I have my 10-hour photo tour. I got my handy dandy reel camera and the manual, Ed, because I can already hear you teasing me about not knowing or figuring out how to use it before the trip. So I've read it twice a week ago, and I will review it again tonight. But I've got that and 4 batteries for it for this 8 to 10 hour trip tomorrow. I take pictures of the Golden Circle and Thingvellir and the rocks where the Althingi met and so forth. So I will probably be off my phone, I hope, a lot tomorrow, because my phone is actually a really nice camera since I upgraded it 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago. That was a great travel move, new phone. But since it is such a good camera, it's my backup camera, I'm probably going to even turn off mobile data, because that saves my battery a lot. And then that way I've got that for the 8 hours, and I will probably post something tomorrow night. So as my rambling closes in on 20 minutes, as soon as these other two ATV videos are done uploading, it's taking them quite a while. I'll get this uploaded. It's 5:49 at home, which means it's 10:49 here. And you can see, for being 11 o'clock at night, it looks about 5:49 here. So yeah, I'm gonna go back out into it for a little bit because apparently some of the nightlife is open till 1 o'clock, unlike most everything else. Not to mention, I actually have to finish my Reykjavik chips. These are tasty, crunchy little chips. I went to Icelandic fish and chips yesterday, I think, for lunch. Spelt batter was a little too greasy for me. It was just very, 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 very soaked, drenched in fat. And then I foolishly thought, oh, fried vegetables, that sounds great. No, but these are well done and fantastic. This bizarre tradition of mayonnaise. So maybe somebody out there can help me. I took a picture of their menu, and a lot of them make sense. They've got the sauces all have names and themes, and there's Samurai, which is a chili mayo, and then there was Harikiri, which was like a really even hotter mayo. I got the Buffy, which is garlic mayo, and you see the garlic on a wooden stick, like you get the imagery for all these, except for one. It was the Hannibal, and the Hannibal was pickled. It's a pickle mayo. And I'm going, okay, I don't know if it's Hannibal and the elephants, in which case I don't get it, or Hannibal Lecter, in which case I'm still also not getting the pickle reference. But all the others were very obvious, the pop culture reference. So if anybody happens to understand that one, let me know, just for the fun of it. But yeah, otherwise, everybody have a good night and sleep well.